Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Murder. And throughout October, I will be looking at the scariest episodes of Poirot, Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, and Jonathan Creek. I've pulled some lists from the internet to determine what people think is the spookiest episode of each show. And we'll begin with Poirot, Five Little Pigs. Or as I like to call it, that time murder was in the eye of the beholder. We begin the episode with a letter being written. Wow, they have terrible handwriting. Well, this is just the happiest little family. Whoa, 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 what the hell? Oh, nice eye. Jesus! Let's go to 14 years later, and into the credits we go. This lady has dinner with Poirot and reveals herself to be Lucy Crale, daughter of the happy family, and she asks Poirot to investigate her father's murder. She doesn't believe her mother was guilty, which she swore in the badly written letter, and Poirot agrees to take a look at this old-ass case, providing she accept the truth, whatever it may be. In this boss-ass building, Poirot looks at a newspaper before talking to a lawyer on the case, who says Caroline had a motive because her husband was having an affair with the slow-walking Elsa and stole the poison that killed Amyas, and no one else's prints were on it. He goes on to say there were 5 people present at the time of the murder. Philip Blake, Meredith Blake, no, not that one, Elsa, Miss Williams the governess, and Angela, Caroline's half-sister. Oh boy, this is a lot to remember. Poirot wants to chat to all 5 of the witnesses and starts with Philip, who does not want to talk about it until Poirot eyeballs him. So, here's his story. He, Meredith, Caroline and Amyas used to be friends, even though he didn't really like her, seeing as she blinded Angela in the eye out of jealousy, and kept his distance, maybe filming Die Another Day, until he came back for a gathering, only to walk into a big old domestic going on. Amyas, head of House Baelish, pointed out how hot Elsa is, which concerned Philip, as did a squabble over dinner that ended with Angela running off. Oh, this is awkward. Elsa and her staring eyeballs spilled the tea over her affair with Amyas.
As I suspected, my dear. You're completely insane.
Right before he walked in and got confronted on the matter. Ooh, so awkward for Philip. They went for a picnic at Meredith's, who was upset about the affair and showed everyone his lab, complete with deadly poisons. And the next day, Philip overheard an argument that ended in a death threat. Philip got a call from Meredith, who was panicked over a missing poison bottle, and they rushed to the house, although Philip chose not to do anything, which was a mistake because Meredith shortly reported that Amyas was dead. Ooh, my initial instinct is that Angela is the killer and Caroline took the fall to protect her. Elsa is next, who is a bit of a nutcase, but nevertheless, here is her story. She seduced Amyas with her eyeballs, and he wanted to bang her, so she ended up at the house where Amyas decided she should go away because she was too hot, and she did, only for him to track her down for more shagging, before she nagged him to tell his wife the truth. He continued with the painting without telling Caroline the truth, so Elsa spilled the tea for him.
Honesty is, after all, the best policy, don't you agree, Monsieur Poirot?
Elsa says she didn't see Caroline take the poison, and back at the house she overheard the death threat argument before making out with Amyas and getting her painting done. Caroline bought him a beer, and later he didn't feel well, so she left him alone where she heard the news from Meredith that he had died. Now it's Meredith's turn, and he thinks Lucy should leave things be, but he tells his story. He admits he had feelings for Caroline, and when Elsa wormed her way into Amyas' life, Caroline had an honest chat with him about if her marriage was over, and kind of threatened to kill Elsa. Poirot will remember that. Meredith admits to him that despite them being friends, he didn't like Amyas much due to the way he treated Caroline, and he confronted him at the picnic, but he was a smug dick. Meredith took everyone to his lab, where Caroline nosed at the poison, before he read about how Socrates died by the same poison, but Poirot wants to know when Caroline stole the bottle. He says Angela and Philip left the room first, then Amyas, then Elsa, then Caroline before he locked the door, and after he heard noises in the night, he discovered the poison gone, so he rang Philip to warn him about it. They both rushed to the house and overheard an argument about Angela, and later called Elsa to lunch, where he asked her to stop being a hoe bag. Afterwards, when he went for a walk, Meredith ran into Miss Williams, who reported Amyas' death, so he rushed to the house and told the others. He insists to Poirot that Caroline did it, understandably so, and that just adds to my Angela Angela theory. If she so calmly took the blame, she must have been protecting someone she loved. Poirot calls on Miss Williams, Onley from Hogwarts, who says Angela was a pain in the ass, but she's now a famous writer and starts her story as Elsa spilled the tea about the affair.
The look she gave him. Magnificent.
She tried to comfort Caroline, but she didn't want to hear it. And I've been staring at this woman for almost an hour, wondering why she looks familiar, and then it hit me. She looks just like her mother, Diana Rigg. Also, fun fact, Philip's actor is Maggie Smith's son. After everyone came back from Meredith's picnic, an argument broke out over Angela going to school, where Angela wished Amyas dead and threw something at him. Watch the eyes! The next day, Angela disappeared, and Miss Williams went looking for her, only to find her pilfering beer, which Caroline confiscated. Miss Williams shits all over Amyas's painting ability, but anyway, turns out it was Caroline who discovered Amyas's body, who told Miss Williams, who ran to Meredith before returning to the body, and she's very mad that Caroline was executed despite knowing she was guilty, because she was tampering with the crime scene and destroying evidence. Yep, covering for Angela. Last stop is of course Angela, who says her sister was innocent and tells her story. She played with Lucy where they came across the affair in progress, and Angela overheard Elsa spilling the tea, so she confronted Amyas, who yelled at her, and then she asked Caroline about it on the way to Meredith's. Back home, she argued again with Amyas and threw something, but then she skips to where his body tried to high-five her, and Caroline sent her away, despite her not wanting to go.
There's nothing to worry about. I promise.
Yep, Angela is 100% guilty. All the clues point to her, and yet we still have half an hour to go. Angela shows Poirot a letter Caroline wrote her before she was executed, saying that she was at peace, and she suddenly blames Philip for the crime because he may have been involved with Caroline. All the characters gather together at the house, but Poirot intercepts Elsa, asking if Meredith ever showed interest in her, which she confirms before joining the others. Poirot asks Philip about Caroline being in his room, but he says it was a sad attempt at something that he shrugged off, but then he starts crying, admitting that it was Amyas that he had feelings for, and that's why she was in his room that night. With everyone finally together, Poirot lays things out. Everyone claimed Caroline was guilty, including Caroline herself, except for in her letter to Lucy, and Angela being on her side. Poirot says the small argument following the big argument didn't make sense. Neither did Caroline taking her husband a beer when she could have spiked the whole supply that he would have gotten himself. He spills Miss Williams seeing Caroline cover up the crime scene, but the poison was in the glass, not the bottle, so her wiping prints off the bottle made no sense unless she didn't know. He says she was protecting someone and turns to Angela, who is outraged, and the letter from Caroline was one of comfort and assurance that she would be protected. She took the fall peacefully because she felt she had finally made up for blinding her sister, and when she caught Angela with the beer, she took it to Amyas, but when he wound up dead, she realised what her sister had done and proceeded to cover it up. Angela says if she was guilty, then she would have confessed to save Caroline from the gallows, but she does admit to taking another bottle of stuff from Meredith's that she was going to use to make Amyas sick, but Caroline took the beer before she could do so. Poirot says he knows who actually killed Amyas, and says Amyas never intended to leave Caroline for Elsa and told her the truth, it was just a fling and they made up. But Elsa overheard and stole the poison that Caroline had stolen and dumped it in his beer before scooting off, leaving Amyas and Caroline to argue over Elsa leaving, which was misinterpreted by the Blake brothers, who thought they were discussing Angela. During painting Elsa, Amyas felt the poison kick in but couldn't call out to Meredith as he took Elsa off for dinner,
leaving Amyas Crale to his fate.
With answer in hand, Lucy, Angela and Miss Williams leave. Philip cries at Elsa and is escorted away by his brother, and Elsa wants to know what Poirot is going to do next. He says he will do what he can to see her be brought to justice, but he doubts the evidence is sufficient. Elsa saunters off, only to have Lucy pull a gun on her, which Elsa encourages her to use, but Poirot tells her not to.
Spare her, mademoiselle, and justice may still be done.
Lucy decides against the act, and Elsa walks away as she remembers happier times with her family. Wow, okay, that was a great episode, and we will discuss that in a moment. But first, let's remember the theme of these videos, and that's the scariest episodes. Now, I don't find this one particularly scary or creepy. Many people mention Angela's eye creeping them out, and maybe if I watched this episode as a child, I would agree, but as an adult, it doesn't bother me. I would say this one is more eerie than anything. From Caroline's execution, to her dying to protect the wrong person, to Elsa being chill as hell, getting away with murder for so long, it definitely felt eerie more than anything else. Right, now back to the story, and when I realised that it was going to be 5 sets of flashbacks, I thought it was going to be a slog, but it was so well done, and I enjoyed how the story gained more layers and context as each version was told. I was so sure of Angela's guilt, but that was by design, as Caroline thought the same thing and protected her sister right to the end. And it really is a credit to Christie's writing that Elsa would be the obvious choice, so that's covered up by it being obviously Angela, only to rotate back around to the truth being Elsa as the killer. It's so clever, and the clues were there, but hidden in the shuffling storyline, told from different people's perspectives. This was a different type of episode. Poirot rarely tackles cold cases, and all he had was the account of 5 different people to solve the crime, and he did so brilliantly, not only coming to the correct conclusion, but also discovering other pieces of information along the way. I thought the characters were fleshed out and well acted, and their dynamics clear, although I'm not quite sure why Amyas and Angela hated each other so much. But Poirot talking Lucy out of killing Elsa at the end was a wonderfully tense moment, and a testament to Poirot as a character with a strong sense of justice and a compassion for the innocent. This may not have been a scary episode, but it was definitely worth a watch. Caroline was unfairly lost to the gallows, but otherwise we have one victim, Amyas Crale, who was poisoned by spiked beer and was slowly paralysed to death by our killer, Elsa Greer, who offed her lover because he refused to leave his wife for her, and tried and succeeded to frame poor Caroline Crale. So there you have it. That was 5 Little Pigs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to keep investigating with me. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and keep an eye out for clues.